Detroit is different here at the Just League Conference. We're talking diversity, equity, inclusion, and on behalf of New Detroit. One of the people on the session that just closed for people is someone I've known for a while. Definitely has game on more than diversity, equity, inclusion. I'm going to say social justice. So with that, Alia, how you doing today?
What's up? Thank you for having me. I'm good.
Right.
How you?
Good. So I already put you in the social justice space and framework, right? Where does diversity, equity, and inclusion play a role in social justice?
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know that these terms are useful outside of like having a straight up bold vision and pushing that change forward. So the terms are arbitrary without the what are you doing. So, at Forest Detroit, we set a goal of raising $150 million over 10 years to incubate violence prevention in Detroit. You see that if you go to other cities, there's violence prevention, there's mentoring opportunities for young people that may be traveling down the wrong path, there's opportunities to embrace and help our returning citizens sort of transition into new roles and new ideas about how to live. And in Detroit, much of that was just decimated. It doesn't exist. And so I think your goal is what tells you whether or not you're really in this space. Like, what are you pushing for? You just talking shit?
So with that, and you always gonna get it real. You're gonna always get it real for Alia. So what should the goals be? So first let's look at businesses. What should a business's goal be? What should they be pushing for if this is what they're talking about?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think as a business owner, and if you're concerned with equity and inclusion, I think you have to have a certain number of mentees. You have to have a certain level of employees that you might not have otherwise hired, except you're giving them the opportunity to learn and grow in this space. So I think that's one concrete goal, and I think you can do that across sectors and fields. And you can make it numeric, you can make it time sensitive, you can make it, it shouldn't be soft, right? Like the people that get these jobs, they should be challenged to actually develop the skills robustly, but they should get the opportunity and they should get the equal pay.
And since we're there and we're talking institutions, as a black woman, and we're hearing more and more of the data that we in the black community have acknowledged for years, but data supporting it, that black women in the medical industry are being disenfranchised in many ways. How does that become a part of this discussion?
Yeah, that's a painful part of this discussion, actually, because, myself, I tend to turn to, alternative means for health. I fast, I watch what I eat, I take the teas, the tinctures, so the alternative forms of medicine. I think we have to challenge some of the assumptions behind how the medical industry operates, and we have to challenge people to see us as human. And for whatever reason, that's just not easy.
And the last one, I gotta put you in the education space. What does that look like in education as well?
Yeah, I think it looks like, I've got a 5-year-old son who he was in kindergarten. He got kicked out. Expelled from the school for, disruptive behavior. And prior to that, he was homeschooled, and he just had never been used to being a part of an institution, right? Wasn't used to asking to use the bathroom and things like that. And so he had some disruptive behavior, certainly. But I think we have to say, there's no 6-year-old that should be expelled, right? We have to have higher standards. This sounds corny, right? It's true. We have to have higher standards for our kids. I think we need to hire more teachers so that teachers have the capacity to build personal relationships. That makes all the difference in the world. Like, of you understanding whether or not a student is frustrated because they're trying to grasp a concept, or frustrated because for whatever stigma, trauma, whatever they're dealing with at their home, they're not sleeping. And then that allows you to be compassionate. But if you've got 36 young people in every class back to back to back, you don't get to know your students that well.
As always, you keeping it real, giving us what needs to be heard.
Yeah, and I think we also have to hire, like, you know, when my son was put out of school, his teacher was white. Now the administration, they were black, but his teacher was white. And I think there was, there's a learning curve around culture.
Yeah, cultural understanding is big. It's interesting. Anytime I'm with a group of people, young black boys, we got to start with a push-up contest first, just to get that energy out. And
Yes,
it sounds
sir.
funny, but
It's
and
true.
then now they're ready to do math.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, because we're gonna be up, we're gonna be active, we're gonna be touching, we're gonna be moving.
That's right.
It's a different flow.
Yeah.
We can't just walk in, sit down, look straight ahead at a chalkboard, and do school.
Yeah. No, that's right. And studies have proven this, but these are not new studies, right?
No.
These are things that overseas people have been able to change their school systems, and for whatever reason, America is just lagging behind, right? Like equity, racial equity looks like us pushing the whole system forward to catch our babies.
Yeah.
Because we know that if the system is, they're going to do disproportionate harm to our children, right?
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.